Welcome to ScreenBytes, a podcast about video games, technology, TV, and movies. In this episode, we discuss the next generation Xbox rumours.
So originally I wanted to talk to you about Starfield, but because of this Xbox leak, I suppose that's a higher priority. We could talk about that maybe later or some other time. I don't know if you're informed about the Xbox leak.
Yeah, I've just been reading up about it. Yeah, the thing about Starfield is it's a game I'm actively playing, and I'm not terribly far through the actual story, so I don't really want to talk about the story. I don't know how much else there is to talk about other than the story. So we'll come back to that.
For me, I've only played like 2-3 hours, and I've already done it. Like I think I'm finished with that. But yeah, that's another discussion, I think. But the Xbox leak. So this came out because of the Microsoft acquiring Activision, and it looks like when they proposed their findings to some committee, it looks like some of the paperworks and emails and the future plans of Microsoft has been leaked.
Is this part of the deposition thing? The same thing where we found out about the PlayStation stuff before they announced it?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I don't want to jump the gun or anything, but I'd already heard about the Oblivion one. I don't know where, but I think I was watching a video and someone was talking about it a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, because that made me think about the Sky Oblivion project thing, and I was just thinking about how they might be feeling, given that all their hard work is kind of not really needed. But yeah, like how.
Well, I'm not talking about Oblivion. I'm talking about the new Xbox console.
Well, no, but what I mean is there's been quite a few things. Well, there's quite a few things coming out. So what I'm saying is. This has probably been drip feeding, not all at the same time, if that makes sense. Because I'm reading this Xbox leak email. You know, this was published on Wednesday. I guess not everything on here was leaked at the same time. Some of it came out a while ago. Some of it came out this week. So
yeah. But the emails correspond to last year.
Yeah,
in 2022.
Yeah. So yeah, talking about Starfield being delayed and trying to buy various companies and that.
Nintendo. But the big one is a new Xbox Series X slim down version, a refreshed version. But the problem is it's all digital, you know, in my opinion, so they're going to be bringing out a new Series X without a disk drive. It's going to have 2 terabytes of SSD space. And it's going to have a new controller that's going to be coming out next year. That's going to be using haptic feedback like the PS5. So that's okay. That'd be good. It's going to have a rechargeable battery inside, so similar to the PlayStation, where you just plug in a cable to it and it will just charge it.
Yeah. Okay.
So no more batteries. So yeah, all of that's good. I'm pumped up for the controller and stuff. But when I heard about this new slimmed down, refreshed version of the Xbox Series X, but doesn't include a disk drive, I was a bit like, that's it. I think I'm done. I think I'm done with Microsoft. If that's their future, because after they make this new console, they're not going to be making an Xbox Series X with a disk drive anymore. They're just going to fade that console out and then concentrate on this new slim refresh model. But that doesn't do it for me, because if that's their future without a disk drive, I can't see myself. I just can't see myself with Microsoft anymore. I know that sounds silly, why? You play games on Steam and this and that, and that you don't have a disc for Steam games, and you can download your games, and it's all digital. I don't know. It's for me, the main reason for me getting an Xbox Series X was because I had so many games from the Xbox original, Xbox 360, and the Xbox One that I could play, and that was a big selling point for me. And to have the fact that now they're we've given up on backwards compatibility. The only way you can do that is repurchase your games digitally. It's like a big kick in the face, really.
Well, hang on. But you're saying about having to rebuy the game digitally, but
yeah,
I don't think that's necessarily the case in all. Like, I bought GTA 5 on the Xbox One platform. So that's digital, not disc. And I could download and play that on the Xbox Series because they are basically the same platform, but just like one slightly newer than the other.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm talking. But
where does backwards compatibility come into it? With how does having a disc versus digital come in?
So in 2002, 2003, when I first supported Xbox as a brand and bought some games on the original Xbox, and then they allowed me to.
And you're going to put them into your Xbox Series X.
Yeah, or Xbox One, and then I can play.
Okay, like I understand that. So what? So you're saying about the games that you already have, not future games.
The games I already have.
But the thing is, it's like you say you're done with Microsoft, but ultimately, if they go discless, then obviously you are done with them because you already have the discs that you want to play on modern systems. If they don't make a console with a disc, then you can't buy a console with a disc.
No, I won't.
And if you move and if you move to PlayStation, well, they're not doing a disc either on their new system potentially. That's certainly not compatible with your old Xbox disc because it's A, not got a disc drive, and B, it's a completely different system. So, and even if we removed that entire conversation, the other thing is like you have an Xbox Series X already. You're not going to buy this new one because obviously you already have a relatively recent system. The next generation console that they come out with almost definitely won't have a disc drive in it. So,
well, how do you know? How would you know that?
Well, because that's where the trend is going, isn't it? If they're removing the disc drive from their main system in the second revision,
I don't know, because the feedback that they're getting now might change it. I think what's going to happen.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I do.
There's a few things to think about. Is that most people have bought the Series S over the Series X. That gives Microsoft more money because people are buying through the digital store at digital store prices, not through used games, games and everything. Disc drives cost money. There is a cost to manufacture and ship those games, and that money will go to Asda, Amazon, instead of Microsoft. So it makes money financially for Xbox not to create disc drives, because by not having a disc drive, they get all of the money and they don't have to share it around with other people. And it's worked for like the Nintendo Switch. Well, no, I forget it's not got a disc drive. Of course it hasn't got a disc drive, it's got cartridges.
It's got cartridges.
Ignore that. Future Josh, cut that bit out. Don't make yourself look silly.
Yeah, but
aren't the PlayStation rumors saying the same thing about the new PlayStation Slim?
No,
the 5 Slim.
That's got a disc drive.
It has got a disc drive. Okay. I think Microsoft probably have all this data where they're just like, right, no one's buying the Xbox Series X's. Everyone's buying games digitally. Why are we still making physical drives? I mean, it's a warranty cost. It's a parts cost. I'm not defending it. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm just saying I'm not shocked if the next generation, so not the revision for this generation, but if the next generation Xbox has no disc drive options at all, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I saw that coming.
Now, what I can see happening now is that because of this leak and the response that they've got, I bet what will happen is they won't have a disc drive built into the console. But I believe what they'll do is, as an additional cost, you can add like a USB 4K Blu-ray drive to the console.
What would be the benefit?
I'm not saying for this generation. I would say for the next.
No, but yeah, for the next gen. But what would be the benefit?
Because you end up like in 2013 Xbox, where Xbox was.
But is that to play games or to play DVDs?
Xbox was forcing people to always be online, have to connect. And people weren't pre-ordering the console. No one was buying the console. So
yeah, but you got to think of the scale. If Xbox allow you to buy an external DVD drive to play games on your console that they don't want you to play games on, to play disc-based games on, they're not going to have a whole system where they're going to manufacture and distribute disc games for the literal 100 people around the world who buy an external drive for their Xbox.
I think they
triple.
I think they will, because they can say to the people that do want still a drive that, okay, you can have your drive, but you have to pay for it. And then they're just like, we've given.
Yeah, but what are those games? What are they going to put inside that drive? Games?
Yeah, there'll be still discs.
No.
No?
Well, no, it's not financially It's not financially a good idea to. Basically, what I'm trying to say, Tommy, is only financially responsible for Microsoft and Xbox to still have physical media if the drive is within the console and it's within every console that they sell, or a good majority of the consoles that they sell. Think about how many people have bought the Series X. At the moment, the numbers are looking at maybe 25%. Year-old data is showing 25% of Xbox Series owners have a disk drive. If they sell one console, like the Xbox Triple, because it's 1, 2, 3, the Xbox Triple, they only sell one version of it. There's no disk drive. They sell the disk drive as an add-on. How many people are going to buy it? It's not going to be enough to support an entire industry of physically making and distributing that generation of Xbox games. Microsoft doesn't care if you can put Xbox One and Xbox Series games onto the Xbox Triple. That's not part of it. They need to be making money in the distribution there. And the only way they'll make distribution is if the drive is inside the console that they give out. So it's either going to be included inside the console, or it's not going to exist at all. I know they had that external HD DVD drive, but that wasn't for playing games. That was for media.
So you don't think they'll go through this route of supplying an external drive?
No, because not enough people are going to buy that drive for Microsoft to put the effort in to creating a massive, we're talking massive supply chain all around the world for all of the games that are physically made. You can't have all of that infrastructure for 10,000 people around the world, because not that many people are going to be buying this external drive. If enough people are going to buy that external drive, then you just put it inside the console.
Do you not think, though, that if they did... I know what you're saying about the manufacturing of the discs and stuff. Yeah, that's going to be costly if there's going to be a small percentage of people adopting the disc drive. But do you think if they do give it as an option and just swallow the money that they're going to lose, that they'll say, okay, we'll give you something for this, but then they start easing people onto the digital platform, make it easier. It's like you.
That's what they've been doing for the last 10 years, and it's working because so many people have bought the Xbox Series S. I don't buy disc-based games for the Xbox Series One, for the Xbox One.
Xbox Series X, you can get so cheap. You can get for 130, 140 quid.
Yeah, and then you start paying full whack for the games. But people are already doing that. The consumer market is already going that way.
What do you think to places in the UK we have shops like Game, CEX, and then Amazon and Argos. But what do you think they're thinking? Okay, Microsoft are going to be releasing a refresh console with no disk drive, and it looks like this is going to be their main console. Do you think they're going to be worried about what the future lies with them?
Well, of course they would be, because that is I think the retailer takes quite a large cut, don't they? Yeah. The same as most app stores. So it's probably a third of the sale price actually goes to the retailer, which is crazy when you think about it these days, because you can buy the game you can go down to Asda, pick it up for 60 quid. That copy of Starfield, £40 goes to Xbox and £10 goes to Bethesda. Or you can go to Microsoft and buy it for 60 quid on, okay, I know that's not the price, but you can buy it on the Xbox store for 60 quid. 100% of that money goes to Xbox, and then £10 of that goes to Bethesda. So there is these brick and mortar and online stores sell enough of the games that yes, they will be worried. CX is different because they're in the used game market, so they're not getting commission, or it's not commission, but you know what I mean. They're not buying from the manufacturer and then selling to the consumer. They're buying from the consumer and selling to the consumer. CX will be around for years because people will be buying and selling Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS4, PS3. They're selling Sega N64 games, so they're not going anywhere. But what they'll find is that their market of tradable items is just going to be it's getting smaller and smaller, instead of there being new things to be added new physical items to go in. They'll probably have to go into. I mean, if you go to your local CX, you'll notice that they're selling a lot more hardware things like phones and consoles, and that's probably to counteract the fact that eventually in in 10 years, 20 years time, there's not going to be a lot of games or films or music for them to be selling, and they'll be selling these other things.
Yes. It is, yeah, because like if you go into CEX right now, you could get you could get Fallout 4 for like £1 on Xbox One or £3, and that will slowly happen to Starfield in like 5-10 years time. So
will it?
Well, yeah, the value of
is there a disc version of Starfield? Because a lot of these collector's editions don't have disc. They don't have disc versions of the game.
You mean they're just it's just a code, but they have yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
it's got a case, but it's just a code. And that's what I mean. It's like, why do you think the next generation console is going to have a disc drive when Microsoft are already selling games without a disc?
Well, yeah, like Halo Infinite was just...
And why would they then also include a optional external drive, which almost no one, like literally 1% or less, will be buying? And then how are they going to put games onto it? Because it's just not financially there for Microsoft. It's in their benefit. All the benefits are there for them to drop the the drive.
Well, let's say this then. Let's spin it a little bit. So there are, as you know, we live in the UK, and the internet here is not too bad. It's quite reasonable, the speed we get. But there are some countries out there that they do have Xbox Ones and they do sell them, but the internet is not so great, so they kind of do rely on having the game physically stored on the disc. How do you think they're going to cope in terms of in the future not having the games on the disc? Do you think they'll just say, we're not going to sell to these regions because there's no point, because the internet's not... It will take them like...
That's never been a concern of Xbox. I mean, you say the game is stored on the disc, but every time I install from disc, it gets about 10 to 20% from the disc, and it downloads the rest of the updates online anyway. And as someone who lives 100% on a mobile broadband connection, and my connection can be incredibly low, like some of my game downloads can be as fast as 5 megabit per second. So Starfield literally took 8 hours for me to download. So those regions probably have equivalent internet connection to what we had 15 years ago, and that was perfectly doable. You just had to wait a longer time. Like, that's not a problem for either side, especially now that preloading is a thing. Because you can preload, you just let it download for 3 days, and then you can play it on release, which you never used to be able to do that. And yeah, I don't. That's not a barrier. Like, it's unfortunate for the people who've got slow internet, but it's not really a barrier. And where it is vaguely a barrier, like we've had, even didn't the 360 download, updates and everything back when our broadband was only like 20 megabit per second. Like, I don't think it's that bad of an issue. And the thing is, looking at it harshly, Xbox is a company in a first world country in America, and actually I think most Americans have worse broadband than we do in Europe. So yeah, like, they really won't care. Like, they just do what they do and let the consumer suffer, because it's not like that's not really anything to do with Microsoft either. It's not like saying, oh, there's only going to be one console and it costs $700. There's not going to be a nice cheap one for low economic families, which is actually quite good that both Xbox and Sony, you can buy an expensive console or a cheaper console. And that is something that they themselves can do. They can decide to make two consoles and make one cheaper. But they're not in control of everyone's internet broadband speed, so they don't need to really worry about that.
I suppose they do have to keep an eye on it, because...
But why? What's the problem? Like if it takes you 2 days to download a game versus 5 hours, like, what's the problem? You just have to wait longer. Like, it's not life or death situation. I'm certainly not criticizing Microsoft because some people have to wait a long time for the games to download. If anything, that's on the developers for having such large download sizes.
And then they talked about in the document about the future of cloud streaming as well.
Well, there you go. There's your answer. If you've got if you don't have fast internet, then as long as you have stable internet, then you can do cloud gaming and you don't have to download at all. You can just be playing instantly. Or you could play the game in the cloud whilst it's downloading in the background. Like, these are actually, you've kind of just answered your question. Like, Microsoft have fixed that problem by providing cloud gaming.
Yeah, but it's not very good though, is it? Compared to actually playing.
No, it is good. I've used cloud gaming is great. I've used it so many times, and at first it was shaky, But apart from being on the mobile broadband, if you're on fiber broadband connection, it's actually really good. It is good. You probably don't want to do...
These countries are not going to be in fiber. They're not going to be...
Why not?
God knows what they're connected. They'll probably be like... They'll be like you, like on 4G, 5G satellite.
Do you know something? Like, not necessarily. Internet speed isn't necessarily correlating to broadband technology. It just means that there's not capacity for high speed for everyone. But they can still have a decent connection, like a stable connection. That's what I'm trying to say. You can have a stable connection, even if it's only like 15 megabit per second, not 1 gig.
So in the future then, if they did release this console... You haven't got a new Xbox, have you?
No, we're still on the Xbox One.
So if they did release this new Xbox, would you be interested in buying it?
No, what am I talking about? We're not on the Xbox series because we got the PlayStation 5.
I know, but say if they did...
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's like I was thinking we're not in this generation, but no, we are in this generation, but we're on the Sony side.
You're on the Sony, so you wouldn't... This wouldn't make you be like, oh, I gotta get this.
I don't think so. Mostly because most Xbox games are available on PC, and that's basically what we've done. Is we bought a PC to play Xbox games and a PlayStation to play PlayStation games.
And that's where I see Microsoft being in the next 10 years. I got this strange feeling that there won't even be... Like, they've said that there will be a new console in 2030, a new next-gen console. But the way they seem like they're going to me is like, you can access Xbox anywhere. Like, Xbox is not a console anymore. Xbox is a platform where you can access it, and you could either stream it or you could use your PC to operate the store. And then you've also got the Xbox console as well to play the games, but it's mainly just a platform and for you to get on Game Pass Ultimate. Yeah, for me, like, if I'm lucky, I was like, yeah, I bought the Xbox Series X with the disc drive at the time. I'm happy with it, but if the next gen system didn't have a disc drive, I would probably be like, no, I'm okay. I think I'm done. I think gaming is just out. Maybe I'm just too old school. Who knows?
I don't understand why you say you're done, because gaming...
Because I like the fact...
You don't have to stay with the current things. It's like you already have all the hardware you need to play the games you already have. Okay, so you're not going to buy the new Xbox when it comes out. You still can play all the games that you've got, and like, you are super nostalgic for so many games.
That's true, but I do.
So you just play those? You play Knights of the Old Republic or something?
Yeah, but I do like playing new games like Starfield. So it's difficult because it's like in my head it will be.
But you've got like 3 gaming PCs to do that.
Yeah, so I can play on PC. Fair enough. And I on PC you have a lot of choices of where you can you can get it on Steam, and you could probably get it on Epic Game Store as well, I think. And you can go to like CD Keys and get a cheaper, like get a discounted price, but get it from the same place, but just cheaper. That's why I'm kind of worried about. It's like, if it's only just Microsoft that I can get it from, or get it from CD Keys, but it is coming from Microsoft anyway. And it kind of like, I don't know. I like the ability to be like, okay, I can either get a physical version and get it cheaper. I just feel like if I wanted to play it day one, it's like, okay, you could pay us 60, 70 quid, okay, and you'll get the game and you can play it whenever you want. Or you could pay like a $5, or I don't know how much a month of Game Pass Ultimate is, and you could have that for a month. And if you really wanted to, you could probably complete the game in a month, or even put 2 months and then be done with it, and then you've saved. But then I feel like, okay, I've done that, but what if I want to go back to it? I'm kind of screwed. I'm going to have to pay for it again. You know what I mean? Pay for the Game Pass Ultimate, or even buy it when it's gone down in price, which I don't think it will do, because if it's only on the Microsoft Store, it'll be a lot higher than it would physically, where physically you could get it secondhand in CEX and it'll be a lot cheaper. Or go on eBay, or Facebook Marketplace, you know?
Yeah, but for something that's available on a service, that's kind of... The draw is that you're not paying £15 a month to play Starfield, you're paying £15 a month to play any game. So if you pay a whole year's worth of subscription, the idea is you're not going to play one game, because that's a silly idea. You want to be playing a few games.
And that's why, and that's the problem. That's the problem for me, because I'm the type of person that does...
But you can say that with any service, you know. It's like, we've got Spotify, I listen to the same 4 albums, which is crazy. It's like, why don't I just buy those albums? Well, because my wife listens to Spotify and we just get it together, if that makes sense. So the thing with services is that they're supposed to be cheap enough that you don't worry about the money going out and you just spend it. But obviously the price is going up. Cost of living is going crazy at the moment. I'm wondering if I'm playing Starfield for free because I've got 1 month free on Game Pass because of when I bought this gaming laptop, it's come with it. I'm trying to decide whether I want to buy the game outright or if I continue to play it on Game Pass or not. I think I've got about a week or two to make that decision, but because it's such a long game. And I'm like, do I want to pay 7 months to play it? Because I'm probably not going to finish it anytime soon. I'm probably going to take quite a long time to play it. And I'm thinking this is actually the sort of game that maybe I should actually purchase it. But then I've got City Skylines coming out around the corner. And that's a game that I will purchase as opposed to play on streaming. So the benefit of having both of those games on streaming is that I can pay one price monthly and play those games over the next year, or in 1 month I'm spending 150 quid on 2 games and that's all I get, for the same price as almost a year of things. So there's pros and cons to both ways of doing it, but you just have to try and decide what works for you.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to be put into a situation like that. It's like, I really want to play this game. It's going to cost me 60, 70 quid. Or I could pay for this amount, like you say, get a year's membership. For me, like, I take forever now to complete a game. I'm not like I used to. I haven't got that much time. So like you said, you think to yourself, well, actually, I should actually purchase it because then, I could do this. I could be like, in my head, I could be like, I pay for a year, I play the game, and then if I do like it, then I will buy it, and then hopefully it'll be cheaper. But what I'm worried about is if there's no disk drive, I'm stuck to paying Microsoft. They were never going to put the price down where it's like ridiculous money.
They probably will.
No, they won't.
I think they will.
No, for games like Starfield and Gears of War and Halo.
Will. It just won't be. You're not going to get it for £1 like you would at CX. I think you'll be able to get it for 50%. You take your like Black Friday or something, or your spring sale, and
so it's only like 20, 25 quid.
Well, 30 quid. I did look. It's 60 or £85 for the 2 versions in the UK. So I reckon I think maybe once the game is a year old, you'll start seeing it at 25% discounted. And when it's a couple of years old, then maybe you'll see it at 50%. Or what you might find is you get a 50% discount if you have Game Pass, because that's something they already do. If you have Game Pass and you buy a game that is on Game Pass, you get a discount on the game full price.
Doesn't this like come back to what happened in 2013 where Sony, they did this amazing press conference where they were like, this is how you share your games with other friends, and the guy just gave him like a physical copy of a game and gave it to his friend, and he's like, thanks.
But that's not,
it's gonna be exactly like that again, where it's like Sony, I could see Sony just being like, you know what, and that's the thing. I think Xbox don't care about who wins the generation.
When you say sorry, can I just clarify? When you say it's going to be exactly like that, do you mean about lending games to your friends or Sony dunking on Xbox for something?
No, exactly that. So both.
But I mean, you can't lend digital games on Sony systems to other people, can you? So they can't dunk.
I think Sony will keep a disk drive. I don't think they're stupid to do it. Because I think by doing that, I think they already win people over, and that's what happened with the PS4 like 10 years ago, where people were like, well, I'm not happy not being able to share my games with my friends. It's the same thing, because if you haven't got a disk drive, you can't physically get a game and give it to your friend, so you end up in the same situation. So they're just falling back into their old habits of restricting the user on what they can actually do by removing something that, in my opinion, should still be in there. Okay,
have I got a date on this? So
yeah, I was thinking this. Date this and see if there will be a disk drive when we find out.
Right,
it'll be next year, won't it?
No, right. So here is an article from September 6th, 2023. Sony's decision to, this is from Business Insider, Sony's decision to sell a cheaper all-digital version of the PlayStation 5 comes at a time when digital software revenue continues to outpace physical media. According to GamesIndustry.biz, more than 94% of video game revenue was generated by digital sales in 2022. I don't know if that's just Sony or if that's Sony, Microsoft, Steam, Switch and everything. But when you look at 94%, you would be crazy to think that disk drives are sticking around for a decade. You know, for if they're still here in the next generation, that's surprising, but they won't be here 2 generations on.
I'm saying no. So what I'm saying is not. I'm saying for the.
There's not enough sales of physical media to justify having a console with a disk drive in it. Microsoft and Sony don't care about your backwards compatibility. All they care is about making money.
Look about PlayStation though. The PlayStation 5 Slim, it has a disk drive. And that's just a refresh of the PS5. And it has a disk drive. They could easily say, oh no, we're going to get rid of the disk drive now. Like Microsoft. But it has a disk drive. I don't know. We don't know if a PS5 Pro has a disk drive, but if that had a disk drive, what would you think to that? So a mid-generation console.
I have no real opinion on a disk drive on the console. We bought the disc version. I didn't intend to buy the disc version. I would have quite happily bought the digital only, but because we bought it through a bundle. The disc version was what was available.
I know for a fact though that you wasn't a big you didn't have a PS4 and you didn't have a lot of PS4 games or any games. But if you had a PS4 and you did have your games, would you not be interested to get a PS5 disc version so that you can play? You could just put in your PS4 games into your PS5.
You're asking a question. You're asking me to answer a question that I can't. I just don't have. Okay, so no, I can answer it. No.
What?
No, I wouldn't. Do you want to know why? Right, imagine a scenario where I bought an Xbox Series instead of a PS5.
Series what?
Just it doesn't matter which series. It genuinely doesn't matter because the majority of my personal Xbox One games were bought digitally. We have 5 Xbox One game discs, and the rest of the library is digital.
You just mentioned about Spotify, and then you only have you listen to only 5 albums.
That's a hyperbole, but yeah, I listen to the same albums. I don't use the algorithm.
But Jen also listens to Spotify. Okay, so you would not do the same. So you would not say, okay, I don't really have a lot of disc games, but Jen does. Would you not be like, oh, if I do have these disc games, it would make sense to get the disc version?
No, because we don't have a lot of disc games. We have 5.
So those 5 games.
We have Watch Dogs 2. We have Dishonored. My eyesight isn't good enough to see the others. Like, honestly, these are games.
Let's say Skyrim.
Well, no, that'd be on the 360. And we live on a narrowboat. We can't be doing with discs anymore because we don't have the physical space.
True. Yeah, and that is a good point as well to bring up. Like.
But it's not even. It's okay. Don't think about the fact that I live on a narrowboat. Think about other things. So when you go on holiday, a lot of people my age and younger will take their game console on holiday. It is so much easier, and I've done this in the past with the 360. We had to take a stack of games with us. Now, when we took the Xbox One, we didn't take the disc games with us. We just took the games we had. Red Dead is on disc because. Again, we bought the Xbox One with bundle with Red Dead, so that's the other game. But it's like, we take the Switch with us on holiday, and I'm so annoyed by the 4 or 5 game cartridges that I have to make sure are in the pack whenever we go away, as opposed to all the other games that are already installed on the SD card. It's the same with the laptop. I love the fact that my whole Steam library is either on my laptop or on one of the hard drives. I don't have to worry about all of the PC games that I want to take with me if we were taking it somewhere to play games while we're away. Similar to Netflix versus taking 20 DVDs with you. Like, if you're taking the kids on holiday, it's easier to give them something with the cartoons already on it than have to physically, you're not going to carry 20 DVDs through customs. You might get stopped for like international piracy or something like that. Do you know, there's benefits beyond day to day. What if you've got split parents and you're taking your console between your parents' houses? And again, like, it's good to have it on one console as opposed to a console and all the games. Like, there's other reasons for having digital only, or other benefit.
Make them buy another Xbox, I suppose.
Right, but that doesn't solve the 20 game discs. Like, you can have two consoles.
Joking.
You know, actually, don't get me wrong, you can have two game consoles, and if you own the game digitally, it's on both of them. Whereas if you have it on disc, you have to carry the disc with you. Like, that didn't help you, that one.
No, it didn't. That didn't help me at all. No, like, I understand the benefits, and sometimes it is like, it's not bad. Like, I don't have to get.
And I just want to say, like, I'm not actually against the console having a disc drive. Like, I feel like sometimes I'm always arguing against you,
yes,
even if I agree with you. Like, but I just feel like sometimes I'm like, oh, what's that word? Being the devil's advocate. But it's like, in this case, it's like, if you look at it financially, you've got physical money spent designing the product, physical money putting the components into the product, physical money spent warrantying people putting 1 penny coins into their Xbox, physical money being spent on distributing the games. And then when you look at all of those, look at all of that, from Microsoft's perspective, it is so much easier to just have digital sales and Xbox Game Pass. Like, why would you bother having hardware inside the game console that a fraction of the user base is using? Game discs is obsolete technology now. It's like, I am surprised they're still around, and I'm surprised they're still in this generation.
Okay, let's end it on this then, I suppose. So the leak, they were saying in the leak that the price would be the same as the current Series X. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's pointless, because if we're talking about something coming out in when's this? We're not talking about the 2030 one. This is the
next year.
It's going to be the same price. Why were you expecting it to be cheaper?
Well, yeah, because they've managed to make the console cheaper. So I'm guessing that they've managed to make the components cheaper to make and put together. That's the whole point of a refresh, is to take what's existed and slim it down and make it cheaper. Minus the disk drive, and you get an extra terabyte a bit. I don't know. I don't think and that's the thing, like, SSD prices are quite cheap at the moment, so I can't really say that's a good, because you could pick up like a terabyte SSD. Well,
we're not talking about picking up a terabyte of SSD. We're talking about what's coming in a pre-built system. Do you know what I mean? The world is in a place at the moment where speculating about the price of something in a year's time and comparing it to something that came out 3 years ago is just so weird, because inflation has been horrible. Yeah, in an ideal world, it'd be 100 quid cheaper. Being the same physical money as the original was, it is technically cheaper than it was. That's just, unfortunately, the way the world economy is at the moment. But like you're saying, you're getting more for that money as opposed to, cheaper components and the same stuff.
I wouldn't say so. You minus the disk drive.
Yeah, but no one cares about the disk drive. You're getting more SSD space. Like, you are literally, you are in the minority. You're in the minority for wanting the disk drive.
I'm not. Please comment below. Please.
No, but you are.
Please comment below and tell us disk drive or no disk drive. Please, someone out there.
75% of Xbox Series sales were the Series
We'll see what
S.
the fans say, okay? Let's ask the fans. Anyone out there, listen, just type in disk drive or no disk drive, and we'll see.
What would you rather, a disk drive or expanded extra SSD space? Don't you dare type in both. You will be deleted.
Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah.
Thank you for listening to ScreenBytes. Follow us in your podcast app or subscribe on YouTube.